an outsized margin because you're going to have the product that everybody wants, and you can give them a supply so you can charge what you want. Thoughts?
Yeah, so the dilution aspect of the IPO, slightly worrisome, but Sharif, I think you'll like this one. So SK recently agreed to buy almost $8 billion worth of EUV machines from ASML.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So
that pleased me greatly.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming the IPO, going to dilute the shares a little bit, and that's kind of alarming some of the
way
investors.
It works there. You see the time there, Joey?
I don't know what to say to
Might have to
Katina,
multiply that by 2.
Well, I don't know what to say to Katina, man. I don't want to cut into his time. I don't know. I don't want to cut into your time too much there, brother.
All right,
60 seconds.
All right. Have a good night, guys. We'll see everybody. Same bat time, same bat channel.
I think Joe's got it twisted a little bit. He asked to go on longer. Like, we're trying to give him more time over there. Good show, guys. I really like all that news segment stuff. It gets you really in tuned with what's going on over there. You've got something to tell everybody.
I actually have a question.
Okay, well, I'm here to answer it.
Well, you ready to become a real trader?
Nope.
It's more asking the audience.
Okay.
Our next training cohort is just around the corner, and this time, oh boy, we're expanding our reach. If you live outside the U.S., now's your chance to apply and join the campus program. You'll be trading U.S. equities during regular market hours, so be sure you're available for the continuous U.S. session. This campus program is carefully designed to help you master market microstructure, different marketplaces and venues, order types, professional execution versus retail or amateur approaches, and space is limited, so don't wait. Apply now and take your trading skills to the next level. That is the Real Trading Campus. You can see right there. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. Go to realtrading.com and want to shout out to them. We have 2 hours to go. The market just lost the volume weighted average price. Looks like maybe we're heading back down. It was, and it was kind of like, I don't know, man. It was kind of an inside-ish. If you look at what really happened as I flip charts here from Micron. What was I on Micron just now? Not even sure. If you look at what really happened, we got into the overnight highs and didn't do much more with it on the NASDAQ. And so you're putting in lower highs but higher lows. So a bit of a wedge pattern being formed as we're battling with VWAP. So off of the lows, good, but from the highs, no mas. Unfortunately, but the last move was down, so I'm in a BM&R, kind of continuation short, Intel trend break, at least for now. We have a couple hours. I'm willing to bet that we'll probably get a headline or two this afternoon.
Maybe, possibly, yeah.
When was the last, legit question, when was the last afternoon in which the biggest move wasn't something following some sort of headline from the Middle East? We either do nothing or we get a headline.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yesterday afternoon we didn't have a whole bunch. It was kind of just moving around. We did get a couple spikes in peaks and valleys, and that's I think what Neil's getting at, and what we're gonna be looking for here as well are those peaks and those valleys, and see if we can hit some of them properly. Welcome everybody back to the midday show, afternoon show. I guess we just had the midday show. Long Palantir early, short off the 200 period late. I mean, I don't. Like, we just came back. It's the only really trade we did. I did try to short the market right here off VWAP, and I was using that 80 area. We got lost. We made lost. That was basically an okay trade. But here we come back in right now, 156.95. So we're going to get it figured out here where this market's going. I'm almost out. I only have 20% again left on this, trying to figure this out. But yeah, going short right now in the market and ears to the ground, right? I mean, I don't need to tell you guys if you've been watching the show, especially the midday show, you know that they've been talking about everything. Adair has updated us with some of the news pieces as they've flown through. Nothing super exciting from what I can see or anything like that, but you know, enough where there's some news about Google and Meta there. And oil just kind of dipping and diving and ripping and tanking and not doing too much. I mean, if anything, it looks like we are upside right there, holding on to this 200 period moving average. It's still going to show us down 2 and a bit percentage points, but you know, we've all sat here and watched this name continue to creep up, and that's of course oil all day long. So yeah, that could be a good, interesting spot there. We just got another piece out of Palantir down there. I don't know. We just got a really low fill. I don't know what happened there. All right, 156.05. Like, if you don't sit there and put out bids, you don't get them. So we just grabbed that. Now we have 20% left, and we're going to wait a little bit longer. Why did I just hear that UPS is adding an 8? That seems a lot if you guys are using UPS. Oh, upside there. Okay. They're adding an 8% fuel surcharge, I just heard, to all of their packages. So the UPS.
Passing on cost is a good thing. So
yeah, for them.
Yeah, for them it's a good thing.
I think the consumer doesn't have much choice anyways, right? I mean,
you don't.
And I don't know. You just compare the prices. I don't know how UPS compares to a FedEx or anything like that. Like, all I know is that I'm ordering on Amazon and literally getting things same day or next day now. Oh, I don't know the last time I ordered something that wasn't basically same or next day.
Let me think. I know I did, but it was like it was a weird thing. No, I got like it wasn't like a normal. It was like like a skipping rope but without the rope. It's just like these weighted things. You do the motion, but there's no rope.
They're not like stocking those.
No,
you gotta wait.
I could probably find it at a fitness store, but I was kind of like, I was doing a workout. I was like, these would be cool when I saw it in a YouTube video. Instead of like the next day going to the store, I finished my workout, pulled out my phone, and within a couple of days I had it. Yeah. And I'm willing to bet you I could have saved myself some money, but the convenience is out of control because I would have forgotten about it, in my opinion.
It's not even about saving money for me. It is just more about the convenience. It's not like I go on Amazon and I price checking things. Like I know if I want deodorant or something and I go on there, it's going to be a good price.
Well, sometimes the subscription things aren't bad if it's something you use regularly. I remember when Aaron was like younger, my daughter was younger, and it's like things like wipes. Like you're going through them at a certain point.
So you might as well.
So you just do that. You do that subscription thing and you save money. You just got to remember to kill it.
5 or 15.
We got a super chat here, and it's worth addressing here. Odell Smith Jackson, people are hyped about SpaceX, but mining in space and bringing it back, stupid, costly. True. Aside from the hype, has anyone actually researched this?
Why is it costly compared to the end result?
But that's not the only. Okay, there's two factors there. One, if you were ever to get to the point where you're large scale and to the point where it's putting a huge dent in supply on Earth, I should say, then you mitigate some of those factors. But the second is that's not the only thing it's useful for. Right? Like you're also talking about data centers in space, satellite launches. There's a heck of a lot more that SpaceX is bringing to the table than just that. And I'm not defending whatever valuation it comes out as, because I don't know where the valuation is going to be when we see.
Valuation doesn't mean anything these days.
I love them, and it might be ridiculous by the time it gets there. But I think there's a little bit more to it, but it's a fair question.
I mean, I do think it's just crazy costly. What I meant by that comment is the fact that it's like, what resources are you bringing back? I mean, if what you're mining is giving you a margin that the stock market or whatever is accepting of, then that's what we're doing, right? We're trying to buy companies that have good businesses. Yeah. And if you can, I mean, just look at, there's lots of businesses where the margins are small, like on Uber or even like a Walmart or Amazon retail, things like that. But if you do it enough and you're able to grab that lithium or whatever, what would they be mining?
If you could dominate it. I don't know, whatever you can find on asteroid, bro.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't even know. So that's like, it could be unlimited. It could cost you, $10 million.
There was one asteroid. I remember this was years back.
Look at this.
They're like, I think it was like iron or something. It was like if you could ever just mine that, it would just disrupt all of the global trade.
Like SpaceX is not. I'm not sure. I mean, someone in the chat says, "How are they making money?" I don't know. I don't know if they are making money or if they are even ever going to realistically make money if they can't figure.
These satellites that need to get launched.
Yeah, and I guess internet. They have the Starlink. What's under? Is that SpaceX? Where's Starlink wrapped up under? Is that Tesla?
Oh, it's a little circle.
No, I don't know. Like where does that revenue wind up? Because I think there's things there as well.
Well, the launches are all SpaceX, so that's where that revenue.
Yeah. Okay. So for sure.
And Tesla's stake in SpaceX isn't that big anymore. Sharif, I think we're ready to go to you, but do you remember? I think it was you that mentioned how big is Tesla's stake left in SpaceX? It's not that big, is it?
2%.
Oh, maybe it was Adair that said it.
I know what it is. 2%.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah. It's nothing anymore.
I'll find out. Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where we decide what we talk about every afternoon. Big boys known as Neil and Sean, they are locked, they are loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers on the Afternoon Rundown, you got to vote, and vote from early on, 8 a.m. And now you can vote from any of the streaming platforms off which we stream. So make sure to vote. It will register, but it will only register if you throw in that $ before the ticker of your choice. Let's look at all four major averages here, and they're all in positive territory, starting with the triple Qs up 0.83. Good look. Same thing with the SPY up 0.7. And the Dow, also the DIA ETF up 0.78. Faring the best, though, is the IWM Russell 2000 ETF up 1 1/5. Good look for the major averages today. The first one, as decided by you guys, URGO, big midday mover here to the high side, trying to hold this $13, $12 level. It's moving up big after announcing the all-stock merger, integrating Innovative Production Group with Flash Sports and Media to consolidate T20 Cricket League commercial rights on the NASDAQ platform. The company is going to benefit from global cricket expansion, citing this team over here with $1.63 billion in implied valuation as evidence of cricket's growth as an institutional asset class, guys. So Urban Grow, a big.
And we talked about it. It's a monster league in terms of viewership. 2020 cricket has changed. It's changed the landscape over in India and too, like all across the world. And UGRO, I believe, I might have said it the other way around, but UGRO has been an absolute rocket ship. You know it's good when it does a steep all-day trend, and this doesn't even, like that breakdown is textbook, and it can't get to VWAP. It goes right to this first support, and you're holding the line, at least for now. So that'll be 1270-ish. It's above VWAP. It's holding that line. That's where I'd be pretty keyed on that level because the trend break happened and it confirmed the high from the trend break. So you get that follow through in here. It's hard to peg where it could hold other than VWAP because there was nothing. Like on the 15, there were no red candles on the way to that high. You don't see that very often. And look at that breakout trade. You know, if we ever do something, I mean, probably will. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll start talking about like what's a good breakout setup. Like something which is gap, make everybody forget with a consolidative type day. You know it has the potential to move like 2x or 50%, 100%, whatever. It does the consolidation day, hold the low, then you get the break of the high, and you know it's got that kind of room. Yeah, you grow. It definitely had that going for it in spades. And this one you didn't really have to. This wasn't one where you had to have it in the pre-market, which I feel like we say most of the time. Absolutely different. That breakout came a little bit later in the session, just as we were leaving air, actually.
I mean, all I'm hearing all week is about how popular this cricket thing is, but yet, like, why aren't we just going long? Like that. So this is the thing. Like, it's just a matter of, if you really like the story and you believed in sort of the hype, then I think this was a good break, like $4 or $5 right into there. Now, the story might have hit too late, and you only the insiders, whatever, get that. But I definitely know we covered this yesterday, and I remember I was sitting here listening about, how this is cricket and this is the greatest thing, and it's up 95% today. So I just wonder if eventually this name does come like just screaming right back down to earth, literally, as we just talked about SpaceX. So I don't know, 95% up. I don't know enough about this space to think that this is going to keep on going. We know that the short float is probably quite large at this point. Let me just double check it before we go off to the next stock here. UGRO. Short float only 9%. The market cap is only $5 million. The market cap $5 million on this. So that's not very much there at all. And I was trying to look for the float of this name, and I don't see it here anywhere where it would say float. But I'll have to find this out for you guys later. But right now, it's only market cap 5 million shares. Just how many shares are existing? But it looks like the price is. So I would say there's like 2 million shares.
Just to be clear, because I don't want anyone to get it twisted. As was said in the story, they have rights to the JPL. That's not the IPL. 2020 cricket was blown up by the IPL in India. So that's not who they're dealing with. If they had some exclusivity with the IPL, this is a huge short. JPL. No, I'm not saying it's a huge short.
No, I don't know either. I'm just saying.
So if it was the IPL, that would be a different story. Like that's the NFL. Think of it as like an alternate. Like NFL blows up football, and you're looking at an alternate football league. That's where I would see it. So again, I don't know as much about this league, but it is a big growth market. It's a momentum play that matters more than anything else for the small cappers, I think. And then after a couple of days, let it settle down, and then you can worry about the. After a couple of days, usually you have to worry about the fundamentals a little bit more. We don't always have to worry about fundamentals with some of these other names on the list, but next on the list has been known to trade at prices a lot higher than the quote-unquote fundamentals would demand. Correct?
I love how you set that up, Neil. Yeah, these memory names all taking a bit of a hit today. SanDisk, Micron, they're all down after Google announces a memory-saving algorithm. So Google Research, in a blog post late on Tuesday, announced what they're calling TurboQuant, which is a compression algorithm that says it helps AI systems use much less memory without hurting performance. Obviously, we're gonna have to see a little bit more before we really start hitting the sell button on some of these memory chip names, guys, but at least for the moment, they're all down.
Yeah, for the moment. I don't know if like, every time this looks like it's forming some kind of a top, it's been proven wrong. And whatever it does, it just simply bounces off the 50-period moving average on the daily. And talking about SNDK, Micron probably, this is a little bit of a different chart. So it looks like it's short and it's all done. You get the 50-period bounce, and the second it bounces the 50-period, it's gone. Then you get another, what it looks like a top, bounce a 50-period, and it's gone. So another break of the high. This feels like a trend break. It's a legitimate enough story. Big bad boys coming in with competition. That seems like the kind of story that would take these down a notch or down a peg. So a move into the 50-period moving average has been how it's gone. So this seems like it would have some room. $600 for SNDK would be that. It's, I mean, the market's bouncing off of the lows, so it's hard to say that this should be an auto short this afternoon because it's putting in higher lows since the bottom. But on the daily, however, it's got a head and shoulders look, which the history has said the bounce spot has been at that 50-period SMA. The day that breaks, I think you've got something going. Like instead of trying to pick the top in this, which probably has burned a lot of, whether it's this or Micron, probably burned a lot of people. You allow it to break the 50-period, and when it does that, it's shown you that like this is innocent until proven guilty. If we're talking about it the other way all the time, then a chart like this, we should use that phrase: innocent until proven guilty. Guilty when it loses the 50-period. Hasn't happened yet.
Just real quick here on Palantir, I do have a bid out 156, basically flat 05s right now. So if that comes in, and then we just got a piece out there in the at 80, 85. So we only have 15%, a little bit under 15% left right now on this trade as it comes back in. Yeah, I mean, look, I think SanDisk, WDC is another name in this space as well, Western Digital, that, you know, could see a move back lower. Today, it's not really making those crazy moves, but this was another spinoff from SanDisk as well. So Western Digital, or the other way around, nice move there to the upside in near $300. Looks to me like it's getting pretty toppy out there, but I also thought that Micron was getting toppy a long time ago, and it just kept on getting longer and longer and longer. So yeah, I mean, despite the NASDAQ being down that 7 or 8%, from its top, these names continue to work, man. So WDC, Micron, SanDisk, I think they're all basically longs until they break, I'd say, the 50-period moving average. I feel like Micron is closer to the 50-period moving average. I just didn't see the daily there on this one. So that would be, yeah, so it's already broken. So I would say this one is one that I'd look short. There's the break zone that I thought was happening last time and did not. So we were wrong on that, right back to the upside. But I just, you know, the market has an easy way of figuring things out. And, you know, as supply gets more and more, I guess, thought of, demand will match what supply brings. So it's the other way around, sorry, supply will match demand. So I think these companies will at some point, you know, start to have enough chips around and enough DRAM and whatnot.
Leave it on that chart for a second.
To suffice. Palantir, I think we might, yep.
Like in all fairness, it didn't really break the, like that's not a real break of the 50 that other time.
Oh, right here?
Yeah, because that's like, it's an
Well, the thing is, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, like it wicked underneath, like a closed just underneath, and the next day, the first thing, you know, it obviously bounced the next day. That, like, that's
to your point, like now we're finally closing. Yeah, we closed below.
Like this is a real one. Like there's, like, you're not getting, unless that goes
402.
up 20 something, what, $30 in the next.
What's the price?
In the next 2 hours.
It's 402 or so.
Yeah, we're not going $30 or whatever, $20 in the next 3 hours.
Yeah,
so I think, yeah, Micron has.
I think Micron is downside from here, but you know, risky, and probably options probably very, very expensive. There it is. We did wind up getting that, so a little bit of diamond hands. We're about $1 in the money there as we get our 06s there on Palantir. Now down to, unfortunately, just 10% left. But I do have another bid down in there in the 90s, and we'll see if we can get a little lower on PLTR. All right, Sharif, stock number 3.
This one's
Tesla, Katina, man, several different headlines, a lot of, not Tesla specific, but SpaceX apparently targeting a June IPO at a valuation of 1.75 trillion. Leading the IPO is going to be Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, as well as Bank of America. Prediction markets here are showing a 70% chance that the IPO comes live by June 30th and a 90% chance that it goes live by September 30th. Then you also have Wedbush and Danny Ives basically saying Tesla and SpaceX proposed Titanic Terrafab fabrication in Austin, Texas, that we announced to you guys, I believe yesterday or Monday, is signaling, according to him, the first steps towards an eventual merger as soon as next year. That is per Wedbush. Then separately, we got more, growing European registrations, looking like it may have bottomed there. We'll have to keep an eye out on that, but decent numbers coming out of Europe for Tesla as of late.
Someone just asked in the chat, does Polymarket have any betting already for the IPO? My guess is yes. You know what?
If that's Kalshi, I mean, yeah.
In a quick second, I'll go throw it up and do a search. Just search SpaceX IPO. I'm sure they have a few lines.
We had it. It was 70% chance of it happening by June 1st.
Well, I was sort of thinking, what would the market cap be at the IPO?
Oh, market cap?
Issue price. I'm sure there's more than one bet you can make. Usually there is.
The thing is, we don't know how many shares they're going to release. I mean, that's kind of a...
So it's, yeah.
Well, they said $75 billion in value to release, and then I don't know what the market cap will be at $1 trillion. I don't know what the market cap is going to be of SpaceX.
Well, that trillion number has been thrown around.
Yeah,
the problem with Tesla, and
1.75 trillion. Yeah,
1.75.
Yeah, I thought they wanted to raise $75 million at open, which is not that much.
No, it's not. So you're getting a fraction of a small fraction. But that's what makes it, a lot of times what makes it good. If there's huge demand, but a real small fraction of the companies actually becoming available to retail and to everybody, that's what causes those crazy spikes on the first day.
75 billion, yeah.
Unfortunately for Tesla, I never really understood why this should be a big Tesla story this morning. If you like Tesla long this morning, it should have been for something else, because they don't own that much anymore. It doesn't. I guess there's like you could call it like the hype and momentum maybe, but that's all you've got. Tesla just barely failed the 200-period moving average, but it did today. So it was a good look early, but it rejected the 200 SMA on the daily. The good news is it's not all bearish. If you have, I think this is more of a consolidated day. You're still up 1.5%. You held the prior day high. When we zoom this out, that looks like a liquidity grab type bottom. You're holding these levels. Even the dip is holding the consolidation. So I think we're kind of set, unless we lose about 387 in here. I think we're set for a test of that 400 to 402, because it was really not, it's not the 400 level, it was just above 400. There were several 400 breaks, but if you scalped it out, you were just fine. But they just couldn't get past that, $1.5, $2 mark. So I think we can get that test so long as 87 holds, but it's not because of SpaceX. Destiny was moving on SpaceX, and even that couldn't hold its move. DXYZ, DXYZ, how did Destiny end up doing? Yeah, it's right back at the lows. Well, if the move was supposed to be the SpaceX hype, Destiny owns 50% of this fund is SpaceX pre-IPO, and even that didn't do anything today but get sold off. So if that's what your reason to get into Tesla, you could just watch this chart.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm going to send this selection over here. It's a question I want to thank you for asking that deep tranquility right now. And it's would I rather buy, or what are my thoughts right now on buying IGV at this point? So thank you so much for that question. Yeah, this is what the IGV looks like. And of course, it is a software ETF right here. And I actually just pulled this down into Google and into from Gemini, and I'm going to show it to you in a second. So right now, you're getting beat up pretty good on this name, right? I mean, it's now been huge moves down. This was on that Centrini report where it was just talking about how everyone's jobs are over and all these businesses are all going to get squashed at some point, which may or may not be right. I think it might be partially right. But that was that move. We had a little bit of a recovery there on names like Adobe and some of the cybersecurity names, but now they're starting to get hit again this week. So what my response was in the chat was that I would rather buy Oracle, Palantir, and Microsoft as individual stocks than the ETF. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is right into here. These are, and I'll zoom in so we can all see this a little bit better. So these are the top holdings in the IGV, okay? So this is a software ETF, right? So you have Microsoft right there at 9.2%, Palantir at 8.1%, Oracle at 8%. So I can wrap my head around pretty much buying all three of these names like no problem. I even said, like, I think I'd rather buy Microsoft than IGV, right? I mean, Microsoft's going to give you a small little dividend. Plus, we know what's underneath the hood there. They've got Windows, they've got Azure, and they'll try to figure out the rest of it after that, including Xbox and ChatGPT and the relationship with OpenAI, blah, 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 okay? Palantir, I'm not going to talk about that. That might even be part of what we talk about soon. Oracle's been beat up. There's no doubt about that. And I think if you're looking to pick up some value, you can pick up Oracle at these levels. We talked about data center and what's required there. They're going to keep on going. But then when you look down here at sort of the next names that are involved, this is why I'm not so excited to sit in there and buy an ETF. Sometimes you have to look under the hood a little bit. I already own some Salesforce. I wish I didn't. Palo Alto's an easy one. I mean, I do already own that, and I'm not talking about I wouldn't buy it because I already own it. I think these names are all the ones that are going to be in question moving forward. AppLovin, and Intuit. I mean, you know, filing your taxes and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think a lot of that is in trouble. Adobe's there as well, and then CrowdStrike. So the only thing that I would say is if you're looking to buy an ETF and you're thinking about the IGV, why not? You could just pick up, you know, Bug or Cyber or something like that. And I think that gives you good exposure to some of these names that are in the IGV ETF rather than just sitting there and having to hold whatever else is in it. So my suggestion would be for myself is no, I do not want to buy this ETF and would rather just buy the individual names. I mean, I think you have so much more upside. I'm not going to call them up, but I think you have so much more upside in Microsoft, Oracle, Palantir, and all those names than you do in the IGV. And I know that, you know, Neil and I have sat here and bought some CrowdStrike, some Palo Alto on these dips. So I feel much happier and more secure with those individual names than I would the basket of those stocks.
Well, we were just looking at Oracle during lunch. I don't remember exactly when we were looking at it, but we were looking at Oracle on a higher time frame. If you look at Oracle on the monthly, I mean, like what? Just every single year, if all you did, if you closed your eyes and bought Oracle every time it got under $140 in the last 3 years, it's done it once a year. This dip between 120 and 140, between 120 and 140. And now it's doing it again. It actually already went underneath very briefly last month, and this month we're getting the bounce off this is a 50-period moving average on the monthly. And it's getting relatively cheap, but do you like everything? Like, it's this exact same reason why halfway through, even though XLF was one of my picks, halfway through the year I was like, I don't know if I like them that much, but I like a few individual names in the financials instead. So instead of buying more XLF, I just bought more Morgan Stanley. You know, sometimes it's just how it is. Although, you know, I get it. Sometimes simplifying it.
I just think it's easier to do it that way.
Yeah, but sometimes if you really just you want to keep it simple and do the ETF because that's good for you, fair enough. But sometimes you really do want to have a look, and if you really don't like 20 to 30% of an ETF, then you got way better options. Either find a different one or simply buy, you know.
See, if you had 10 grand and you divided up like a third into three of those names that you like, you can almost miss on one of them and win on the other. Like you could almost go 1 for 3 or 2 for 3 and still be greater than $10,000 by the time you're over with.
I do that all the time.
If you put all your money into the well with IGV. And it says it's called Expanded Tech Software ETF. Yes. So probably more newer names in there, despite having Microsoft and Oracle near the top. Okay, Sharif, it's 2:28.
One more?
Right now, 2 more names, I believe. We're working this guy overtime.
Yeah, no, it's good. Let's start with President Trump's tweet, basically confirming what we already knew about the Trump-Xi meeting. He tweets, "My meeting with the highly respected President of China, President Xi Jinping, which was originally postponed due to our military operation in Iran, has been rescheduled and will take place in Beijing. On May 14th and 15th, First Lady Melania and I will also host President Xi and Madam Peng for a reciprocal visit in Washington, D.C. at a later date this year. Our representatives are finalizing preparations for these historic visits. I look very much forward to spending time with President Xi in what will be, I am sure, a monumental event. Thank you for your attention on this matter." He also, President Zelensky of Ukraine telling Reuters the U.S. offered to finalize security guarantees if Ukraine withdraws from the Donbass region, saying withdrawals would be highly risky for Ukraine and Europe. Apparently, the U.S. is still supplying weapons despite the Iran war. Ukraine, according to the report, has the capacity to produce 2,000 drone interceptors a day and has parity with Russia on these FPV drones, about 7 million per year, according to the reports. All right, let's actually get to the next ticker, which is Micron. We already talked about SanDisk and how Google announced a memory-saving algorithm on that, which is kind of causing these ones to drop down in the day. The Google research in a blog post yesterday announced TurboQuant, which is a compression algorithm that says it helps AI systems use much less memory. Separately, of course, we also had SK Hynix, who plans to confidentially file for a US IPO in the second half of 26, guys. MU down 3 1/3.
In our defense, we had a super chat about Micron, SanDisk, in which we kind of covered the difference between SanDisk and Micron right now and how competition has potentially broken the trend here. It's certainly done it in a definitive technical way for Micron, as we pointed out. Like this is not the last test of the 50 period. This is a definitive break of the 50 period in which you have a support level at 367, 370, so maybe it'll bounce off that. Looks like it already did today. So I think that's what you're looking for on Micron. That looks top-ish to me. Like, I mean, not only does it look top-ish, it's weak relative to the market today. It's been in a downtrend for the entire week. Even without that story, Micron was already in a downtrend, so you got to lean onto that. I can't see how you don't look for some continuation short here, or maybe some early participation. Like I said, if SanDisk can catch up, it would need to take out this bottom here, because SanDisk actually got a bounce. That's the difference. SanDisk bouncing, Micron not. So for the time being, this is a little bit stronger relatively if you like those memory names. But you're showing some signs of rollover. And there's other places that the chip money was going today. The chip money was going into ARM and AMD. Big time. No questions asked. Like AMD's up 7.5%.
Wow.
7.5. Like, what's NVIDIA up? It ain't that. It's not. Like,
if NVIDIA was up huge, I'd be
NVIDIA is under VWAP and up 2%.
Still like the 2%.
Yeah, well, apparently the next name on the list is AMD.
Okay, just real quick, man. I mean, yeah, there it is, man. Spin it one more time. We're now at $1.30 in the money as Palantir. And I just put out a tweet, man. Long early, short late. You know, that's been something that's been working out, and that's what we found here with PLTR. We got that trade in, made a little bit of sense to take it, so we did that, and there goes Palantir, making the move a little bit lower on some weakness here today on PLTR. I mean, it's strong on the day, but losing, that's for sure, the bid, and we just covered a little bit more. So unfortunately now 7.5% left, just taking out some baby spots on this all the way down. But hey, man, we got to be happy with it. All right, Sharif, go tell us news about AMD then.
Price hike, Sean. So we saw this with Intel as well. They basically warned their customers that they're going to raise prices for all series of CPUs starting from March and April. The price hikes stem from a shortage of CPUs that are due, of course, to the rising demand for agentic artificial intelligence used in the data centers, guys. So AMD here up big, 7.6.
Oh, wow.
I'll cop to it. Like when AMD made a double top, made this high up here, I said to myself, okay, well, I want to trim some stuff. So what am I selling on my personal account? And my thought was, okay, I'm going to sell AMD shares, the bulk of my holdings AMD, which I've had for a while, and I'm going to not sell anything in NVIDIA. Like, that was the decision made. And on top of that, when we came back in and bounced off this support, I was like, I like NVIDIA more than I like AMD. So reloading NVIDIA has done here. It's done absolutely, positively nothing. Well, whatever. It's a little bit off of that 175, not much, but it's done nothing. It's still sideways, and AMD is getting going. I still believe that. I know the rising tide lifts all ships. I know the growing, continued growth is going to allow AMD to compete. Yes, AMD has a lot of other things going for it as well. Just from a valuation standpoint, it was hard to wrap the head around why NVIDIA wasn't a better value, but ball isn't lying. This bounced so clean off the 200. Now we're getting the 50. That's a good momentum shift here that you're seeing. in AMD. And you can't, it's unquestioned today. Dip buy never really materialized, and at the open, it was basically gone $7 right away. So it was a tough chase in here. And the other side of that story, well, I guess it's the same part of the story because it was both AMD and Intel. Intel broke a 15-minute trend. On a shorter time frame, it broke a trend and didn't work. On a 15-minute, it broke it, and we're still in the consolidative phase on the 15-minute chart, and we're looking to play the pullback on Intel, which is not exactly like AMD, but a very similar held to low. Intel, look at that, we're closing back above the 50-period moving average. So you're getting, as we said, you're getting that chip money that is going to a few other places today. Certainly not the memory names, and to an extent, I hesitate to say not NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is up more than the market is, but I think it's fair. It's fair to say NVIDIA has been a disappointment today. 2% should not be a disappointing day, but it feels like it right now for NVIDIA.
I just wanted to say another name that obviously we just talked about NVIDIA. We also talked about, thank you, Smith Jackson, and this might be a good spot here about Marvell as well for that. So you're talking about water. Yeah, I mean, I love the water aspect. A company tried this already. You can go look for yourself up in space. It's gonna, I mean, yeah, things are gonna be different, man. The way you mine it and the way that these data centers work up there, I think will be different in space than it is here on Earth. And I don't know.
Well, the whole thing is like, well, in order to cool, you need to transfer heat. How do you transferring heat is? It's a problem. And I'm not saying it's an easy thing.
Someone smarter than us is going to figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not saying it's an easy thing.
Like,
I don't know.
This is not Neil and I taking a company to space. These are Elon Musk and people that actually know what the hell's going on.
Before we go to SoFi, that UGRO is halted to the upside. The UGRO.
Oh, good.
Yeah, now 22 halts, 1554 theoretical auction price. So it's indicating it's going to open to the top. Oh, you know what? I keep forgetting that we can show this to you guys. The imbalance locator is also useful in halt situations because you can look. It doesn't always matter here because usually it's not a bunch of size. But right now you can see it's flipping between a buy imbalance and a sell imbalance. So as you get closer to the 5-minute mark, which will be 239 or so, you might actually see this level off and give you a better indication of direction. But it's flipping back over. He'll show you the auction price as well. And this is just if you're at real trading or if you have access to the imbalance locator. Useful for halts as well. We probably should show that more often.
Our halt scanner?
Well, because not just a halt scanner. When something is halted, you can throw up the imbalance locator to get some kind of an indication as to what things are looking like in the moment. Mopar, thank you for the super chat.
We'll check on SoFi. I just want to, we can get rid of that now. We'll check SoFi in a minute. Don't worry about it. Just Marvell right there to the upside. So, we've really liked Marvell. I'm going to get that. Okay, you got it off. Okay, good. To me, this is more significant than AMD and everything today. Not just because we're pretty loaded on this stock, but it looks like it's trying to finally break, right? And so we're going to wait to see. I'd like to see a carry forward day tomorrow on Marvell. We've been sort of talking. I mean, we even brought this up with Brian Shannon yesterday. I mean, I'm talking about it all the time. And I really like what they had on earnings, man. They kind of spiked up on earnings right here, came back in, did nothing right around the 200 period, then got going, now wants to go again, waiting for this 104, 105 break on MRVL. And that leads all the way back into here, man. Last year, February, is where we're trying to get to for Marvell. We always sort of poke fun at names like NVIDIA or Amazon for doing nothing all year, right? This name is almost the opposite of that. You're going to be at the same price. But, what a up and down move there for Marvell. I mean, you could have got this thing at $50. But that's, there are a few names, Microsoft and all that are down near tariff tantrum lows, right? But at the end of the day, this was a pretty good name. You had opportunities to buy it there on earnings, there on earnings, there on earnings. And either way, it's still upside. And I think that if these data centers are going to be a thing, Marvell is also a thing. So we really like Marvell, and Broadcom is sort of the father to Marvell. So, Marvell up 8%.
Oh, yeah.
There must be, Adair, there must be an individual story about Marvell today.
I was seeing speculation that they're part of this ARM chip thing. I found nothing at all to confirm.
We brought it up. We brought it up
before.
with the ARM thing.
I'm just surprised at 7%. And I know that SoftBank is. Oh yeah, that's another connection. SoftBank with ARM, and then SoftBank also wanted to take Marvell private. About no, not years.
Oh, no, it was years.
No, it was last.
So that report came out, and it was like from prior years.
Okay,
So
because
even like,
but
I
there
know
was
it was
more-
reported a couple months ago, but the report was not like up to date.
Fair. There was more chatter
it
about
was
it recently.
Yeah, it was right into here. It was this first bump for Marvell on the daily chart. It was November or so when we heard that they were just looking to get maybe a little bit more wrapped up in Marvell. I don't think it wasn't about taking them completely private there. And then we bumped up again on earnings in there into 102. So these are the levels that we're looking for anyways. But yeah, on to the question about SoFi.
Yeah, well, SoFi, unfortunately, I want to be able to tell you that things are looking better for SoFi, but it's not. It really isn't. We're going to, look, it's only Wednesday, but it looks like we're going to close this week not getting much of a bounce. We're on a weekly chart. You're pulling back into a major support level, which for the time being is held, but hasn't shown any signs of a bounce. So, Muddy Waters, whatever, their report came out, and it hasn't really done any kind of a squeeze. I think it was, I forget the date that it was, so I can't really, it was Square, it was Block. Remember Block had the short seller report, and it's like, oh, these guys, this is the bottom because it double bottomed, and then it ran, but it ran like in 2 days or 3 days or something.
What's SoFi's price
And
now?
SoFi is now chilling out here. I'll go from the weekly because I want to show the weekly with that key price level.
That was like 1660.
But we're basically just holding the 1660 low. That's all that's happening on the daily. But there's been no bounce. No break of that 1740. No continuation. At some point, you think when you make a low after that short sell report, you're supposed to get some covering and a rally. It's not happening yet in SoFi. So I got some concerns that we could have a breakdown on the stock. If something doesn't happen this week, it's not looking too good. And I hate to say it, like, day trade's a day trade. At some point, this turns into a flat bottom break through $16.50. And that could be next week. Let's go to Adair at the desk. We got some news.
Yeah, I'm seeing some reports here from Channel 12, which is an Israeli channel there. They're saying that there is an assumption within Israel, so not news, but an assumption within Israel, that President Trump could be announcing a ceasefire with Iran by this Saturday. I wanted to mention Marvell, though, so I did look into that SoftBank report again. It did come out in November, I remember, because we were still at the other desk, the news desk at that time, before we moved over here. But as I remembered, in the Bloomberg report, it did say that talks had already broken down with SoftBank by the time that report came out, and that SoftBank was reportedly interested in Marvell for years. So just some more context here on that MRVL thing. In terms of today's story, I found absolutely nothing. So not seeing anything there. Back to you.
I mean,
I think it's sympathy to ARM because that they have moved in tandem. Like SoftBank had interest in both. NVIDIA at one point had serious interest in. A lot of people had interest in ARM actually. NVIDIA. NVIDIA wasn't allowed to buy ARM. The regulators were like, no. And all the competitors were like, no, and lobbied heavily to not allow that to happen. And got their way, obviously. And it's worked out pretty well for shareholders because NVIDIA did just fine after that, and ARM did just fine after that. And sometimes it doesn't matter whether a deal happens. Marvell's done fine just after. It's the interest from one of these, you can call it, whether it's an activist or sometimes it's an activist, sometimes it'll be SoftBank here, and just a big time investor. And that's all it takes. That's all you care about. Because if it's a quality company that's doing well, fair enough. It's when it's a company which is looking for a turnaround, that gets a buyout rumor or gets that kind of interest, and there's nothing there, that's where you got to worry about the rug, because they're looking at it as a lifeline. Speaking of lifelines, BMNR and Bitcoin, I'm in BMNR, but Bitcoin just bounced off this same 40 level that it bounced off of earlier. So I just took some out in front of that supply. I'm looking for a breakdown here. And we had, I know Joe was in this one as well. The 40 level on IBIT, I forget what dollar amount it works out to, but it's something like 70, call it 70,000 and a half. Notice how it's making a higher low, and then it did this weird spike that I don't know what happened in the middle of the day here for Bitcoin at 1224, whatever it was, but I didn't catch it, but when I sat back down, I'm like, what the heck was that? And I looked over, I'm like, well, maybe that's not the thing to short. BMNR didn't get to VWAP, so I'm like, okay, if I like the short, let me just go with the one that didn't go ham and break VWAP. And so one's at the low of the day, the other isn't, so I like the weakness a little bit more in BMNR this afternoon. And yeah, market's rolling over a bit. We still have plenty of time. Let us know what you guys are watching, what symbols out there. I just saw Roof Ninja. just said SMCI is making another high of the day.
That was up 5% or something earlier.
Good for them. Good for you, SMCI. It did have a trend break. It got to VWAP. It tried to follow through. It didn't really follow through, so I trailed out of it. And now it's 5%. 8.8% SMCI. So SMCI is on the comeback trail. Well,
we talked about that earlier. Like it's
like,
too bad we can't celebrate it because it's down 25% from that gap. But,
yeah, I mean, you can only celebrate it. It's like if you bought that, if you just, I'm buying that low. If you bought the $20 level on, I guess that was on Monday, right? Yeah, that was on Monday. When off that $20 level, that was about it. And Urban Grow looks like it opened up and, instantly
halted again.
Yeah, insta-halts to the upside a second time. Now at 18.10, and the tap is 18.40. So Urban Grow is now.
We just talked about that. It was up 95%. Remember, I was like, wow, if you really think this is a good idea, you could just buy the thing. Now it's up another 50% on that move. But I don't know, like, if this war is going to be either announced victorious, or what was that thing on Saturday? It was going to say a ceasefire there, or what was something was going to be announced on Saturday?
So not a report, oddly enough, an assumption that was being reported by Israel's Channel 12 News. But I guess in Israel, they are assuming, and again, that's the word they're using, that by Saturday, President Trump is going to be announcing some kind of ceasefire with Iran. Also, we just got more comments while I have you guys here from Foreign Minister Arigachi of Iran saying the U.S. has failed in its war goals, saying they have not had a quick victory and they did not get regime change.
Well, don't tell that to President Trump. He will not like to hear that something's been failed over there. But that's obviously someone's
opinion.
Else? I mean,
what are they going to say? We have been defeated.
I mean, what exactly?
You have knocked out. They're not going to say that.
The thing is, the regime change. That's like more of a mentality. Like they've taken out every single major leader or whatever, as far as we've been told over there. So I mean, yeah, they can keep on bringing in new, but I don't know if they're able to change the culture and the way they feel about governing their state. I just don't know if there's ever going to be a change. That's all.
That's the thing. If you never actually bring, if you just keep going down the rung and everyone down the rung thinks the same way, then
they had asked Trump about like what is going to classify as a victory, and I don't know if he needs a victory per se. They just. I mean, he might need it, but for Israel to come out and say there might be a ceasefire, I mean, that to me means a little bit more. I think, because Israel's the one that's right there in direct fire, basically, right? I mean, they're the ones spending all this money on their Iron Dome, taking down all these drones and all these missiles.
And with a bigger stake.
So if they're going to ease back, I think that's a good sign. So I just wanted to say, like, for USO, I mean, if there is something about some sort of a ceasefire or some sort of an agreement that happens, I feel like we should just be short now on USO. Like, is it not going to come back in right there? Like, this is the extension when it's like at its extreme. Can we get worse? Of course. This could all be wool over our eyes. Like, just because you announce a truce or something like that doesn't mean that that's accepted globally or internationally. But I'm looking, and like that, this is why I look at this. It's been happening here in the last 10 minutes in oil. Like, if there was some truth to all of this, like, who's bidding this up? I know oil just closed at 230 anyways over there in NYMEX. This is USO. But who's really bidding up right now the price? You still have Ukraine and Russia still needs to be solved there, and maybe that's what's on sort of the docket next. But yeah, for me, man, waiting for more information here as we go. It looks like there's a little bit of a move higher there, but yeah, we'll wait for some more information from Adair, and then hopefully we'll be able to make a better opinionated idea here with the price of oil. And I don't even want to make a decision. Like, I just want to trade the action, and right now it looks like it's going upside. This would have been, I mean, I know I shorted Palantir and I'm really happy with that, but this right here too, not a bad opportunity to get a little shorter in silver. Up 4% today, really good rally back. I mean, I was thinking, like, right into here, man, 60, this is a decent spot for silver. I mean, we've bottomed out here a couple of times and have made that rally back. A metal that actually has some sort of use case, I believe, silver as well. You talk about going up into space and building everything. All these missiles are apparently huge amounts of silver involved there. We do know that it's an industrial use for silver there, as well as we continue to build out. And we talked about mining and everything like that. I actually do think silver off 60 is something to look at, and then I'll throw it back to see if you have any other ideas. Keep it going, man. It's only 2:49. It's not even power hour yet. Let us know if there's let's know if there's any trades developing. I mean, right here, this looks like we may get a break on gold again now, right? And so this could be making its move back down in. We could have a quick look at, and I know I said I'd throw it back. The dollar right here, just because we just looked at gold and silver. So this is the US dollar here on a 1 minute chart. So far today, pretty strong, good strength there in the US dollar. But now that I see this price 99.50, it just makes me go back and think about a day chart right here where, oh, that's still 1 minute. Let me look for a day chart right there. That we've still been sort of hovering around these levels, right? We got into Iran, I believe it was right around, was it January? No, January, that's not that long ago. Must have been, when was the very first? I mean, I guess we had Venezuela. I'm just trying to think
of the Venezuela spike.
It's like Venezuela was the first weekend of January, yeah.
First weekend of
That would have been January 3rd, I believe, is when they went in.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, because the move down here in the dollar basically looked like it started around January 19th. Okay, that was just a dare. Yeah, all the way back down in there, and then now it's just kind of creeping a little higher here, the US dollar right now, but pretty consistent with this level. It goes all the way back, again, back into April. We have this pretty stable US dollar right now. So, we did have some huge moves, right? Like 111 all the way down to 97, almost in a straight line there, as we were all, worried about what exactly this trade battle was going to be, what these tariffs meant. And we did have a new president obviously coming in, so that rattled the dollar there. But yeah, as long as we don't get any yen unwinding.
That would be a problem.
We should be okay.
We have another headline there, of course. Distance yourselves from the U.S. coming. Foreign minister.
Yeah, to neighboring countries.
Distance yourselves from the U.S. Well, I mean, again, what do you expect them to say? You know what, everyone in our chat, not just on YouTube, but on TikTok or anywhere you happen to be watching us, any of you can answer a custom poll, which I want to put up. What? Okay, so apparently I have to hold off on this. Okay, so everyone think about this, because I guess something's going on in the back.
No, don't think about it yet. People start putting it in.
Don't put it in yet. But I want you to think about what you think is going to move the most, and we'll give you a few options in Power Hour, which actually doesn't start for 8 minutes, so it's perfect. We can actually wait until a few minutes for this to come in. Oh, I can tell you that UGRO did open back up, got to broke $20, and actually it's going to go halt to the down. Oh, bounced off the halt band.
Isn't it halted right now?
No, it bounced off the halt band down here, so it looks like it fell through 20, got to the halt band, the down halt band, and made a bit of a bounce. So holding on just above the $18 level, still threatening that it could push lower and go into another halt. So obviously this is going to be a big mover as well. And some people took some sneak peeks at the symbols that were already on there and are trying to answer. But we are going to get that poll up for you, and then we'll see what leads the list. Maybe it'll be UGRO, maybe it'll be AMD. I have no idea. Maybe it'll be silver that you were just mentioning, SLV. Silver, again, I'd say disappointing day, 3.5%. You get to call it a disappointing day for silver and gold. The whole idea is supposed to get that relief rally. And instead, we just trended up all day long on USO.
Yeah, UGRO there with their announcer strategically positioned to capture growth with their T20 cricket franchise valuations exceeding $1.6 billion and global media expansion.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, global expansion right now, obviously, in the space. And we first brought this to you guys back when we did the show at 2 p.m. And it was $14, $15, and then it really started to get going here. Again, not really sure. It was $5 million valuation market cap with I mean, now that's going to be way up. So I don't know if that was decided down here, but let's just say there's maybe 3 million shares or something outstanding on UGRO. I'm not sure if we ever found that float, but 67 million shares done today on UGRO as it continues to march higher. Didn't we have GameStop earnings yesterday?
First day it went, but we didn't mention the float today, which we should do it every single day. So because there was a story on this, it moved the first time like a couple of days ago. It's like it's just under 700,000 shares. It's a tiny float. Oh, we can get that out of the way, that headline. There we go. Yeah, it's just under 700,000 shares afloat, and the old data on the short is 10%. But remember, short float data can be up to like a month or two old. I don't know if we were just going to Adair. I don't know if I heard that right, but early look imbalances, nothing crazy. No, well, it's the other day there's the last few days there's been a few things over $1 million early. So and a couple of them have actually gone. So I want to keep an eye on this because you've got $5 million to sell on Kenvue and $1.5 million on Coupang there already. If at 315 some of these start to grow, then they get interesting to me for sure. So yeah, we'll keep watching that G Pro. Someone mentioned our rhythm in the chat. This is an example. RITM on, was it Friday? Yeah, it was on Friday. RITM on Friday was one of the better, had an imbalance, and this was at 312. So an hour before, 40 to 50 minutes before the imbalances came out, this one had a gigantic imbalance. It was like 12 million shares or something, and it was at the low of the day. And it played all the way back into the high. And there's a few names that already have some early looks, which we're gonna try to get. All right, so Intel, I got the first target out, and then went for a reload, didn't get filled, but we're now waiting for the volume-weighted average price.
I just got some out on
Yeah, the market's falling here.
Yeah.
So I guess Adair is probably going to have something in the air.
I just got filled on the bid there at 65. No, I didn't hear anything there about it, but it seems like we are going. Okay.
I don't think my bid's.
This appears to be the news here for oil. USO pushing higher, and we'll take a look at the market, which is pushing lower as Foreign Minister of Iran, Arigachi, saying there are no talks with the U.S. So we already had Iran saying they weren't in talks with the U.S. Once again, now from the foreign minister, we have them saying, yep, we're not talking to the U.S. Believe what you will. That is, of course, a major thing to note here with all these stories. But regardless, looks like there are no talks with the U.S., according to the foreign minister of Iran.
This is like when I discipline like my daughter, and then she's like, "You ruined my day. I'm never talking to you again." And then 5 minutes later, we're playing chess, or you're back to normal. It's just like the whole I'm not talking to you. Well, that's I don't know. It feels like that level of discourse. Like, how many times do we have to hear, in some form or fashion, we are not talking to the U.S.? I feel like this is like.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point. Is like I don't even know like. This guy, whenever I hear, I was thinking his name is Arigachi. I thought about Tamagotchi. Remember those little Tamagotchi things?
Oh, yeah.
How hype those were, but
you see,
I never had them. My kids, I think, had one.
Oh, go ahead.
It's weird, too, because sometimes they spell it with a Q, and sometimes they spell it with a G. So, like, I don't know if that's a regional thing, but I've seen his name spelled, honestly, probably an equal amount of times, either way.
There. Okay. The Labubu company got moked.
Oh, did they? Yeah. We spent our $100 on a Labubu, and I don't even know where that thing is anymore. Let alone all the stuff, all that kids stuff, whatever. I went back and forth with my wife on that one. It's crazy. We have thousands and thousands, but everyone does, of old dolls and stuff like that for kids. But yeah, I mean, there, Palantir just came right back in, so we bid again. More out, so bang, 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 Hosan. The cash cow was in the building here today. As I just have made 2 trades, man, just two today, right? We traded Palantir long early, on positive news about the Golden Dome and a $200 billion project by the United States, and using Anduril there, which is not a public company, a part of the wing of Palantir. And then this short, again, right now, as the short's been pretty good in the afternoon, and just this was more of a play against a 200 period and momentum downside, right? And so we were sort of starting to go down. We made a back move up, and if we don't break the 200, which we didn't right there, that gave me some kind of confidence to get back in. And that's not get back in, but just get in. And that's what we did, right? I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you where my stop is on this trade, but we were just actually going to stop out right at the top of this, 157.10. So this is a 15-cent stop, and we're in the money $1.15, and there it goes all the way to the downside. And see, right back up. So now I have 5% left, exactly 5% left, as we cashed out more on the way down, 2.5 there, 2.5 there. This one I was sitting there. I took this bid when I heard that news at 75, and I was already sitting at 65, so that was a good little flush there. What I want to get at was GameStop. Wow, what a good quarter for them. They actually reported down on revenue, up on collectible revenue, down on overall revenue. I think it's a collectible story. I talked about that. I really do think that if they can get a website or some sort of a hub going, and I believe they already have it actually on the web, where you can trade just whatever, Pokemon cards, sports collectibles, pieces of art, whatever is cool, NFTs, if they ever get back. GameStop is an interesting spot there because, you know, card grading and all that stuff. We just saw Logan Paul's Pokemon Illustrator 1 of 1 go for $16 million there. And, you know, the Golden, the auction house, you know, the amount of money, I think they make 20% or so on that. So if GameStop can get that sort of side going, I know my kid has a couple graded cards and whatever. Just an interesting spot to be able to sell them and get going. So I kind of like what GameStop's doing. And then the important thing too is, I'm not sure where they got this from. I have to go through the report. But how in the hell do they have $9 billion in cash? So, I mean, that's like that cash number. Yeah.
I did read through the report, and I don't even understand it. So
yeah, so...
Yeah. And that's double what it was last year. It's doubled it.
This is the thing that I don't understand.
Their entire market cap.
That's what I was going to say. We can make fun of GameStop as much as we want or whatever. I mean, I remember when I went to Dumb Money and I was sitting beside Citadel guys here in Toronto when it was previewed or whatever here at Toronto Film Festival. It was a wild ride, obviously, GameStop, but they have $9 billion in cash and their market cap is $10 billion. So we're only giving them $1 billion for their basic business, which we just heard revenues were $300 million. So I know that's not a billion, but you're getting close.
But that's why
3-to-1 sales to revenue.
But I think that's why if you look at if you look at it compared to AMC, like one of those stocks is stabilized and has accumulation at $20 for a long time. Somebody is like, you don't accumulate like this here. You don't accumulate like this. That's June of last year. It's been pure accumulation between $20 and $23 on this stock for a year. It hasn't done anything with it, but at some point you go for so long. And this is not to pick on AMC, but whatever, man. Cost isn't relevant. Give me another, like probably all the other meme stocks are probably dead. So I just have to pull up AMC. And during that exact same time, its brethren tried to accumulate and has been falling precipitously. So it's not a sentiment thing. Like Cashman, it's a great point. There seems like there's a there. And the other good thing is, how many times have we seen the story where you have a flush on the actual print on earnings, which is what it did. The dip gets bought up, and then the low just gets held. So it's held that low, and it's rinsed some people out. Like anybody that shorted that print or hoped that they'd get their money back today, well, they're out of luck, and they're not looking any better. And even if it gets under VWAP or under $23, they're still going to be out of the money. The market probably bringing it down like everything else is coming down right now. So if Intel bounces off VWAP, we're going to get out. That was the first spot that it found support at 46.85 this morning when it went absolutely ham after breaking out. So if it bounces off of the volume weighted average price, I'd want to jump out of that bad boy. Yeah, Kurt saying you could also make an argument about like BlackBerry would have been. I was searching for other meme names to not pick on AMC. Yeah, BlackBerry would have been another good example, right? Downward trending because all the meme stocks never developed into anything. Adair?
More commentary here from Foreign Minister of Iran, Arigachi, saying that the U.S. is sending messages through different mediators. So, because I guess being asked here, hey, you're saying that the U.S. and Iran are not in talks. What does that really mean? Well, Arigachi's saying, yes, the U.S. is talking to mediators, but talking to their mediators is not the same as the two countries coming together and speaking, which Arigachi maintains they're not doing. So again, basically, I guess Iran's foreign minister here addressing claims that mediators are talking, saying, yeah, that could be the case, but that doesn't mean the two countries are actually in a dialogue. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Adair. Yeah, I mean, that's... I don't like the fact that he's talking about like getting messages from this person and that person, this person. So we need to clarify exactly who's in charge here when this all, he talked about, I mean, Trump just used his first name. He's like, oh, Marco and Pete.
Polo.
These guys are over there. Little, when he was facing Rubio, he was calling him Little Marco and like all this kind of stuff. Now they're best friends, but.
He loves Marco Rubio.
I know, but I remember.
He's obsessed with Marco.
No, but.
Yeah, he did. They did battle back and forth very on this first run.
If you remember during the campaign.
Yeah, all about.
The primaries, actually.
All about Florida and all that stuff down there for Little Marco Rubio. But look at DraftKings right now, down 8%. 8%. We have another one. Plug your ears if you're a Republican, but we did. It was everyone's favorite lawmaker, I guess, at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez there, and Martin Shkreli come down on DraftKings and Polymarket, saying that it's basically just all like basically a scam, like a scheme, that there's really is no guardrails against anybody doing insider trading or gambling or anything like that on DraftKings. BTIG comes out, this is on Polymarket and Kalshi, BTIG comes out and downgrades DraftKings on their EBITDA as well for next quarter. So I wonder if DraftKings today, and look, ICE, this Intercontinental Exchange here, they invested $2 billion in Polymarket. Will it become more regulated? That's definitely possible. I was thinking that DraftKings obviously getting hit throughout this whole time as Kalshi and Polymarket start to become more and more popular. Now they're getting hit. Like if Kalshi or Polymarket were public companies, they'd be getting hit as well. This is just, I think, on the back of the fact that maybe DraftKings now won't be able to implement some of these, betting markets as they go. I know IBKR has some of those as well right now, but there was a story there today about all of that. So I was just looking at how DraftKings is trading lower there. It just says here, U.S. Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Martin Shkreli recently aligned on social media, arguing Kalshi's new insider trading guardrails are insufficient, calling the policy a fig leaf right there, saying prediction markets are gambling. So yeah, that's not going to help out a lot of these gambling websites as we, potentially look for more regulation in an already probably way over-regulated market. They're already telling our kids they can't use Facebook and Instagram and all that. Now apparently you can't bet your money that you've earned. So, congratulations on that one. Although the stock market's much more of a gamble than DraftKings.
Everyone always tells you what you can't do.
Yeah.
But what you can do is take advantage of volatility. And volatility is going to create movement. So if you're a sophisticated trader, you want to take advantage. And Beta Pro by Globex offers Canada's first and longest running suite of leveraged and inverse ETFs built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leveraged bull and 3x bear ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified exposure and giving traders tools to navigate both upward and downward momentum. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset US dollar exposure back to the Canadian dollar. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. You can trade tactically and scan that QR code to do so. Visit betapro.ca. Shout out to them. And speaking of volatility, in probably no one's surprised at this point, UGRO did not, so it did not halt down, hit the halt band. Sometimes when you get one of these things, it's halted up a few times, and it tries to halt down, but does one of those like false halts, gets to the band and bounces. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. But it's now halted up, 20.98. The tap was actually at one point just under $23. Whoa. Okay, it just opened at 22.90. So it did open at that 23, and it's going to go into immediate halt at 24.20. Where is it? Oh no, I'm on the wrong page. There it is. $24.20. So, whatever.
It's up 3x since we talked about it.
If 420 comes up, I have to hit the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went from $14. Well, this morning it was at $7. But now this is clearly just gone. The shorts are, well, I don't know. Let's just say bamboozled. I'll keep it clean. The shorts are bamboozled at this point on that name. That said, Intel is bouncing off that support level. I'll probably just trail it to this prior bar, like this support level in here to like the 15s. BM&R, I don't think I'm as concerned with that. That's still trending to the downside. I'll probably look at something like this. You're after power hour, so I'm going to move my stop from this wick into probably this one in here. So they can't lose money, but I'll respect the trend that we're sitting in here. Crypto heading downside. Everything's pretty much heading lower.
Yeah. Did we get a super chat about Tesla? I feel like we skip that, but if
No, it was during the rundown. Yeah, Tesla rundown.
Okay, good. I was just going to say, I definitely do not want to skip any super chats, and I want to say congratulations. I assume if you were super chatting about Tesla, you must have been short. So there goes Tesla all the way to the downside. Great call there, whomever was involved there with TSLA, as it's going lower and lower and lower and lower. Remember we talked about gold? Gold was a breakout spot. Duh, Sean. We literally, like my kids say, Dad, literally, Dad. We just talked about this play on GLD, right? Remember it was right up here? And I was like, well, it's looking good for a break. So I don't know what what is going on right now with gold, but there comes the downside as we get more and more worried right now about the geopolitical situation, as Tamagotchi over there in Iran is saying, like, no to any of these sort of deals happening right now. Adair's, of course, been throwing out some of the news stories there as we go, but there's the break, man.
There's nothing new right now. Yeah, I just wanted to update.
Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, all good, Dara, thanks. Yeah, so just waiting to see if there's any sort of more action there on gold, and there it goes to the downside. And we should have, shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't, right, at the end of the day. Could have traded this to the short side and didn't. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there for sure on GLD. I also wanted to quick have a look at silver and see what silver was also doing. But yeah, missed opportunity for me on this side of things here in this space. We still do hold on to the Palantir short, but have very little left of that. And honestly, man, trying to get more involved, just missed that. And look at silver. This is another thing that I want to talk. Whoops, this is another thing I want to talk about. Look at it just fall out. I'm keeping my eye on Palantir because it's once again near that 50 marker and looking to break lower. Just look at this. There's the, would you take a look at that? There's your 50 period moving average all the way to the downside. We could have rode this down if we did have that sort of thought of more negativity happening in the space. And it's just, yeah, downside play. We're both still short the market. Someone in the chat said, BMNR, and I think, Fabian, when is that thing ready? Let me know when it's ready, just because I know Neil wanted to put something up as well. But someone had an idea in the chat, and I thought it was a great one. Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Something, the code changed on that. So we may not have that up today, just to give you an idea, Neil. But okay, that's fine. So what I wanted to say instead was maybe, someone said in the chat, BMNR or GameStop moving forward. For me, it's easy, GameStop. I don't believe. Yeah, I would. Do you believe in Ethereum? I mean, if I ask any investor in Ethereum right now what the bull case is for ETH, I want to know if they can give it to me. Stablecoins. Right there. Yeah, stablecoins is fine.
But that's coming from somebody who, look, I'll be the first to admit.
But stablecoins are built on Solana.
Well,
and
Ethereum
think about gas.
No, Ethereum as well.
Oh yeah, as well.
But the number, I was a person at the top. I didn't sell any Bitcoin at the top. I sold a boat of my Ethereum because when crypto was at the high, my determination was I preferred Bitcoin over Ethereum. So I sold Ethereum and held Bitcoin. Now, obviously, holding Bitcoin hasn't been the right call, but so
yeah, it's been horrible. I mean, all of these things have been horrible.
Yeah, you did sell something.
As opposed to GameStop.
I wish I had sold everything.
Yeah,
but I would make the argument that when you're looking at a shot play, I always look at BMNR. Like, first of all, I just don't like the treasury plays in a general sense, because I feel like your downside risk is huge if it fails. But at least with GameStop, like it's not just that there's been that accumulation. It's also like I like that cash position. If you're looking for a shot play, I think fundamentally it might be a little bit easier to get behind. But my bias is proven given the fact that I already, with my own money, picked Bitcoin over Ethereum. So it'd be difficult for me to say. What am I? I'm not going to be the guy that's going to say that because I was already selling ETH. So you need to get somebody. You need somebody who likes ETH.
I don't own any GameStop, and I do own Ethereum. I'm just saying, like, honestly, Solana's cheaper, less gas prices. I'm not even sure about stable coins. I mean, I really do like staking. I think there's a lot of advantages.
They got another blow there.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think there's just so much sort of regulatory issues surrounding ETH. And look, like I said, I got to look into this.
And
GameStop
it can be infinite amount of ETH with Bitcoin. You know how much Bitcoin there's gonna be. There's always gonna be that constrained supply, which to me is a big deal. Like that was one of the original theses. And that has not changed, and money continues to be printed like it's going out of style and being spent like it's going out of style.
I don't know. I mean, we don't have that. Well, we can actually put it up in.
Well, we can do
actually
it normal.
we can actually do it in.
I can do that.
Yeah, why don't we just do that? Would you rather hold Bitcoin, ETH? We don't have to do BMNR because BMNR, like you said, there's more into that. They're invested in Mr. Beast and all that kind of stuff.
Not a fair
I mean,
place.
I'll talk to Tom about that this weekend and see what he says. But yeah, I was going to say basically BMNR or GameStop. I think. I'm sorry, ETH or GameStop. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what people think there in the chat because we do know that less than 50% of our audience actually holds crypto. So that was another interesting thing there too. And I bet you, like yesterday, you were surprised that anybody holds GameStop, but I wasn't. I was surprised about that 5. I'm just surprised about that ratio, which is why I don't really understand what's going on over there when we talked about percentages of money, the 9 billion in cash versus the 10 billion in market cap seemed a little odd. To me there as well. But anyways, there's GameStop.
Because if you have no preference, that breaks a tie pretty easily, fundamentally. If they,
yeah, well, I mean, I'm only basing it on that. I don't know.
It's like if you do nothing else, I have to pick 2 companies that it's like, well, I don't really love either one of them, but one of them, fundamentally speaking, is holding their entire value in cash.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing too is we have to remember too, it's one thing to stake them. Because if you stake Ethereum, then it takes, what is it, 2 weeks to get it unstaked, or is it 4 days or something like that? All my Ethereum is staked anyways, but I was just saying there, if you want to make a decision on Ethereum, you can't, if it's staked, and you guys tell me in the chat, I don't know how long it takes. I've never unstaked it, so. Yeah, Ethereum's still staked. I think it's 4% or something on Coinbase. I'm not really sure.
The tap is now $27 on this.
Yeah, that stock, man. We looked at UGRO.
It's gone.
Like I said, man, at 2 o'clock. And I was like, if everyone is all about this, maybe we just buy it, man. I mean, there it goes up to the upside. UGRO, again, it's only 316 now, so this will open back up again pretty soon. And like Neil said, the theoretical auction price, 26.
This one's a 10-minute halt.
Okay,
so,
okay.
But that's still 2 minutes from now, but it is a 10-minute halt. We are getting a bit of a bounce.
Someone just said Marvell boom. I mean, come on, man. Are you trying to get me all excited over here? Yeah, we definitely like Marvell. We're long, like, the price we're long at is pretty juicy right now, and I don't want to sell any of this Marvell. I'm really excited about the way that's going. Yeah, I don't know, but gold continues its move lower, right? I mean, that's going to be something right there to watch out for. If we battle back into into this 25 period where we've sort of seen that's 415 and change, that could be. It's coming up. That could be a short. Silver also right here. We're on a nice heater here today. I'm not sure if I'm going to do too much else, but here comes silver right back up. I actually don't mind this. Something happened again all of a sudden because the market is trying to battle back upside a little bit. I think I will take silver here though on that short if it does come in 65 or so for a level. Yeah, that's 65 right there. Let's see if silver comes back up. Why don't we take a look? Okay, it's almost here right now. All right, I'm going to try silver against that 50-period moving average, which we haven't really seen too much of an issue with since 2 o'clock. So far, so good on that. Let's try to go short silver using basically 65.20 right now as our stop. So we'll wait for 65.95, like to get it in and around where that 25-period moving average is. So I'm just going to push offer, get up there into 95, put a couple shares down there or up there, see if we get filled, and then average it back in if we are lucky enough to get anything near 65.10, and then we'll use a break of that 50-period as our out. So unfortunately, we just looked at it and instead of talking, we could have just hit the button there, and we would have been short at 92 or 93. Let's wait and see if we get it back upside, man. That was only a minute ago it was there. So if silver rallies, we'll be there to catch it, hopefully.
Yeah, just because I know our usual way of displaying this is down right now. Mopar, thank you for the super chat, saying can't stake ETH in Cali.
Okay,
I'd take Bitcoin. That's fair.
Bitcoin, okay.
Right now, it's actually 72% Ethereum, 28% GME. So there you go. And I think it comes down to, there's obviously some love for ETH. I'm glad we did that instead of BMNR because I feel like you get some.
I'm actually not sure there's love for ETH, more that there's no love for GameStop.
Well, yeah, but fair enough. I would agree because
if you put on there ETH versus the SPY, I think it'll be 100 to 0.
Like even I said, like if my pick, I don't love either one of those names. I can't say I wouldn't buy. I would never say never is the best way to say it. I would never say never on a GameStop.
UGRO opened and halted again.
Yeah,
I thought you said it was 10 minutes.
It was a 10-minute halt.
Oh, it was a 10-minute halt. Okay, it opened up already.
And
I mean, now the tap is $35.
yeah, this is.
So now you're just growing and growing your account on YouGrow.
This was 16
over
cents
here.
At the beginning of February. 16 cents. And then you know what? Like the first move and then reversal.
it's split.
Oh, that's a split. I don't have my E single chart up. I have the other chart up. But I guess it's a split, which makes it a habitual line stepper.
1 for
in some sense.
25.
Usually you don't see that kind of a breakout. Oh, there's got to be some firms that are burned. Like if you're a firm that shorts reverse splits,
Its 52-week low is 202.
yeah, you're basically screwed. But that's still ridiculous.
Oh,
It's still
yeah,
absolutely
$2 to $30. Here it is right here.
ridiculous.
There's the 52-week low right there made after the split. It came in. The 52-week low, it looks like, was on the 19th of February. So that was its 52-week low right there. It basically barcoded at $2, and then it said, whoosh, upside right now, and we halt. We're looking at the tap right now of $35. This is a crazy stock because like this was already, and again, it's split adjusted. So the E-signal charts go all the way back. But based on, you know, the current split price, we already got up to $71 before. So this name can go. I mean, realistically, you're not going to get too much overhead supply issues until 38, you know, between 35 to 40 bucks, which looks like where we're going to open. So I'm going to make a call right now. I mean, I think this might be the last sort of tap upside right now. So let's wait to see what winds up happening on UGRO. My call would be for you guys as day traders, and again, you know, just trading advice, not financial advice here. If you're in the stock, which I guess is financial, I would think that's 34 tap. That might be a decent spot to think about getting some out, because you can't be short or you can't be long anywhere here where that's not a victory. So take your victory lap, man. I would say if you are looking to trade this out, you could just put a, what is this trading on NASDAQ? You could just put a NASDAQ offer right now at $29. And what it's supposed to do when it opens up is give you whatever that opening price is. All right, so that would be, for us, that would work that way. I don't know if that's going to work the way for you guys, but you want to put in a limit order on the NASDAQ because that is the underlying or the holding exchange. So that should get you, like NASDAQ can't print somebody else at 34 when you're offering 25. So that's my understanding of it. But again, like we're trading here on P8, which is unique and proprietary software.
That's a market rule. Reg NMS has been around for...
The problem is the routing. Like, I don't know if you send it with Robinhood, will they send it to ARCA?
It's not like it can't happen. It shouldn't happen. And if it ever happens to you and you can prove it, your broker's supposed to rectify it. But again, we don't have that problem here, Real Trading. Dave doesn't have the problem of sending super chats. Dave Z Sequoia, which is still, like it's our usual Dave. Dave's dumb swing trades of the day. Okay. Gold puts 400, April 17th, buying and holding through the summer. On the gold or on APA and ETHA?
Well, 417 would not be holding through the summer.
So you want to hold ETH through the summer and APA through the summer?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. That just want to make sure you're clear there. That was a heck of a bounce on gold. That GLD gold, it's just a heck of a bounce on that pullback. And so the momentum was pretty clean. But it's interesting how little desire for continuation there was today. That's not a good sign. I really did think, and it ended up not being a breakout trade, and then SLV was sort of the same thing. It ended up not being, there was just no breakout. It was set up perfectly to be a breakout trade to fill this gap, like we said this morning. But you know what the good thing about breakout trades are? It's one of those strategies where you can't get roped into it if it's not there. Because if it never breaks the level, you never have to worry about trading it. And dip buys can be a little bit different. Like you can try a bunch of times to dip buy. With a breakout, it's a lot more simple. Adara?
I have more Middle East headlines. I'll start here with LHX. This is for L3 Harris. I just saw this come out. I've not seen any confirmation, just one headline, but be aware here, LHX, L3 Harris, reportedly going to be providing autonomous underwater capability for the U.S. Navy submarines. Furthermore, USO here on watch as we get CNN reporting that Iran has been building up defenses of Karg Island, which we know is very important for oil. And the goal of this is, of course, to protect against potential U.S. ground attacks, as we do hear reports that the 82nd Airborne Unit is going to be heading over to, or at least roughly, I think, 1,000 to 1,500 was the last number I saw. Good portion of these soldiers reportedly heading to Iran. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
Come on.
And, close enough to a VWAP bounce. I'll trail out of Intel. I mean, it was pretty much the volume weighted average price. I don't know if it comes back to retest the lower high, but it is now it's almost 330. Ooh, FXI is a buy and bounce. It's going to give the early look a look, and you still have Kenvue still $5 million to sell. I don't like that one because it seems like it's there a lot and never seems to matter. And UCAR is a penny stock, so FXI right now would be the interesting name, and not much anything else. GDX is pretty small, $6 million to sell. AbbVie, that's pretty small, 600. Then you got Soxel, ONDS, but they're all pretty small. I want to see something get over $1 million and hold that's significant. Procter's not the kind of stock that's going to be that good on an imbalance either. So potentially FXI, I might throw that one up on one of my windows. You know, some of those Amex names have been pretty solid there. You know what? We didn't really say anything about Pinduoduo.
There's something about
No,
them?
they reported.
They did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't really. Yeah, it's. You know, look, first of all, one of the best things about getting our watch list or Truce notice, you know what, if we can't cover everything. And all the times it'll be, what are we looking at to trade? What are the stories that we can compact? What are the names that you guys are throwing into the chat? Pinduoduo fell through the cracks, but you would have been able to find it, A, on this graphic that Adara put out on Trader TV research, be on the watch list, and in Sharif's notes. So shout out to Adara. Explain the note, because they had a huge move in the middle of the day. It went like $8 off the open. That was crazy. I didn't realize this even happened on Pinduoduo. Adara? Or no?
Not yet. She's going to.
We'll go there in a quick little second. But that was a great move on PED. What I don't like, and I will say this as someone who sold most but not all of my Alibaba, is Alibaba gapped and did nothing with it. So when Pinduoduo was going $8 off of the open, Alibaba went to VWAP and rejected. So it's catching a bit of a bid, but like how much closer do we let it get back to that breakout? It was such a good break, Alibaba. I'm glad to take something out. I could have taken it all out at some point. But yeah, we could. This is not impossible that Alibaba could make a retest under $100, where that's been the spot. Like when it gets under $100, that's been kind of the place to buy. And it's proving to you that it might be headed back right to that same level. And geopolitical concerns aren't going to, as long as those don't go away, like why expect it not to trend back down, right?
Yeah, it's funny. We almost got, like, I was sitting there on silver. We almost got that print again, and we're at 95s. I didn't change it. Came all the way to 90s, basically, right there, and fell off again. So I'm still willing to take this SLV if it does come in. It's 326. We have a couple more minutes until imbalances. As soon as I heard, like, this, well, now it's coming back in, so I don't know. But we just had a nice move up there in Palantir. And remember, we are short. I just took another cover there. We'll see if we can get back into these lows. Like, as if Iran's going to, you know, get ready for this military that's coming, boots on the ground from the United States. That's not going to go well. The only thing is, people keep on saying, like, remember Vietnam and all this? Yeah, I mean, Iran is a huge space. But hopefully this island, I don't know how big it is exactly, but I hope it's not like one of those wars where there's somehow all these casualties, because it sounds like right now there is going to be human intervention, and that's always a scary thought. So we wish well.
Just never wanted to get to that.
No, and that's what I don't like to hear that, and I think that I don't know. I'm actually surprised the market's not going a lot lower on news of that happening. But
I think I think the market's getting a little desensitized to the, like, we'll still get wicks and movement, but it's like we're not getting the huge moves oftentimes. Like, you just see what's going on with, or not going on with USO. Like, it's been, like, it's
that
weird.
UGRO is
basically,
gonna
like, it's just trending higher, and that's about it.
Here we go.
UGRO.
Yeah, UGRO is going to open up. I mean, it looks like it was
10-minute halt again.
Yeah, it was 3:28.29. So right now we have 12 seconds before Urban Grow grows your portfolio upside. I think this is the end of it. I don't know. I didn't pay for shorts, but here it comes. There it is. 32.50 opened up at right there. Sorry, 32.85. All right, so here comes the move. Let's just see which way it halts now. I still think it's going to go downside. What am I going to do about it? I didn't take it, but there it is, man. There's the halt downside. So there you go, man. You're welcome to $4 if you took that, because it's going to halt $28 and probably open at 21. So there we go to the downside. There it is, instant tap of $24. So there we go. You want to clip that one right there? I mean, there's UGRO. I mentioned it 10 minutes ago. I thought that was going to be the highs. There it goes into 34, opens back up, goes 32, opens 30. I think, it must have been 30. I thought it was 32.50, but I have to go back and find exactly where that was.
It visually looked like it was closer to 30.
Yeah, I mean, it went down to like 31, then it ripped up to 34 there. You know, as long as you're not trading thousands of shares.
I wish there could be like a...
You're probably fine. There it goes down to 24.20.
It'd be nice if on the halt scanner, it would show me the prices. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking, this is what I'm looking at right now. On our halt scanner, if I could see the prices that all of this happened. Like if it was another column and it could tell you the price that it halted at and the price that it reopened at would be kind of cool. I might put in a request. If you're at real trading and you like something like that, just so you go back and see how the trade could have worked out for you, then you put in a ticket, which I can do. And then that's why we have the halt bands, even right now. That's why there's more columns in that indicator. For sure, because you need to know how much that went against you. Like where would you need to have put a stop to be in it still? That's the question that you want answered.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you would have got stopped out on that.
20, well, it depends. If you put a $1 stop.
Well, then you're an idiot, honestly.
It was 20 cents per share at real trading. I know some people have said, "What's the point? You can't short UGRO." I would agree. Most brokers probably don't have locates on it. Here at real trading, it would have cost you 20 cents for 100 shares. Right? So that means that any profit, if it costs over $1, people tend to not do it. But if it's 20 cents, that's perfectly reasonable for anybody to.
All right. Adara?
Yeah, I was going to wanted to show this. This isn't out on social media yet. I'm going to post it tomorrow during the midday. But I wanted to talk about this LA social media verdict a little bit because it does, unfortunately, implicate both Meta and Google. This is actually the second straight day where we've had a verdict that is not in Meta's favor in a social media trial. Actually, the second time in less than 24 hours. But basically, we had compensatory damages issued here. They're going to be $3 million worth of compensatory damages, 70% of which, or just over $2 million, will be paid by Meta. Just under $1 million is going to be paid here by YouTube, which is, of course, owned by Google. Basically, this LA jury ruling that both companies failed to provide adequate warnings of the dangers of their platforms. And this is, of course, in relation to a 20-year-old plaintiff who sued in this personal injury suit, basically saying these companies led to her social media addiction. Back to you.
That's like basically like when Randy Moss got that $10,000 fine and was like, what are you gonna do about that $10,000 fine, Randy? How are you gonna pay that? Straight cash, homie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
a nothing.
Oh, because it's $3 million?
That's a nothing move.
I actually thought I heard you wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's to the plaintiff, so I mean, it means something to her.
There's still also punitive damages. Those have not been issued yet.
Okay, well, so
they could get hit harder. Again, the infographic will have all of this, but it's not out yet because.
Which is fair. The actual initial reaction, I know when the first settlement that went against Meta, it actually was to the upside, which you usually would like. But unfortunately, the market didn't have any continuation. The bad news is that lack of continuation has Meta back underneath 600. Remember, this was this morning, we were sort of talking about the difference between names that were, when the market was gapped up and everyone was feeling good about themselves, the names that could get through some resistance and couldn't, like Meta, very, very different. NVIDIA, actually NVIDIA was on the wrong end of this as well. Although it did eventually break, like it wasn't above that 180 resistance line. It kind of did break and then failed it. And then you had AMD, then you had stocks that looked like this, that were clearly gapped above their most local resistance levels. I can zoom it out and show you. And I feel like that's when we had these wipe out, everyone's scared of everything type moments and you get a relief rally. Check out the ones that are already broken through. The ones that are gapped up that would have to dip in order to lose that key price level. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room to play in the other direction, I think. I'm going to quickly double check. FXI is still only 2.
Yeah. I mean, we still have a minute before that happens. We got about 17 minutes until those imbalances go live. We just got the lowest price that we've gotten on PLTR on this move down. We got 50s. So that was a good little print there for Palantir on the downside right there. Yeah, I mean, you were just talking about Meta. We saw Snapchat. I mean, some of these other... I guess, social media platforms here. all of them just getting absolutely crushed. I mean, look, Meta's still holding out. It's still in and around that $600 spot. I think we're okay if you're going to hang out there. But yeah, Snapchat has not appreciated that level break at $7. I mean, now you're almost cut in half. You're at $4.50 right now, looking to get a little bit lower. I shouldn't say almost. Half of 7 is $3.50, so we're still a little bit ways to go until we get down into there. But if I'm going to call up, you know, a chart of Snapchat, oh boy, how the mighty have fallen. This was an $80 or $90 name, not even that long ago. I think probably during COVID. Let's go over to a monthly chart and have a look at how bad Snapchat's been. Yeah, okay, $80, good look there. Yeah, 2021. So you're all the way back into where we were, basically sort of off IPO. I mean, this is monthly, so if we're going to go back, we IPO back in 2017 on Snapchat in and around $23. We make the move down in 2018, so that was about, trying to figure out the months. So that was January or February, and that was February. So in 1 year, it went from 24 down to $5. And then that was, for some reason, the takeoff there as everybody's sitting at home and wondering what's going on with the world. We get back up to the upside there of $80 as I guess people are Snapchatting each other. And then all of a sudden, all the way back down into the point where right now you're not even paying even $1 per user right now for Snapchat. I mean, I don't know what their market cap is and what their user base is, but seems like it's getting to be reasonable to me for Snapchat there. I wonder if this is a pickup down there. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, my kids are using Snapchat and on it, but I don't know how many, how much money, like I don't know what the ads look like over there. And I think TikTok really came in and, you know, ate these dudes lunch. So yeah, too bad for Snapchat shareholders because it's been downside. But that little look there of $4.50, $4, I don't know, man, 10% worth of risk? Seen worse, man. I mean, you go long here, maybe wait to see what tomorrow brings, and I don't know, but you could think about a long in Snapchat.
One thing,
and then just put your order to stop yourself out, man, if you break through $4.
10% is tough when it's $4 isn't the penny stock, but if you think about the appreciation of the overall market, like the stocks that I considered penny stocks in my brain, things that are between $1 and $5 now, in terms of usually when they're like down, they're kind of like penny stocks.
Well, what is
so I feel like usually you need to give those like 20%.
Oh,
because oftentimes you're looking for a 50% move or a double up. That's your game plan. And if you're looking for a double up on a stock, giving it only 10% is tricky.
The thing is, it's not really. It's still $8 billion market cap.
Oh, it's still pretty decent.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not a small cap really. And then also, actually, I don't know what the definitions of small caps are these days. Maybe we should look that up. And then the short float's only 9%.
Only 9%.
Yeah, so it's not huge there on Snapchat. So I don't know if, by the way, UGRO opened back up, and okay, wrong on where it would open back up. That is for sure. We can be right about it halting lower, but it opened back up. It actually opened where I think looks like 25.50 or so. Like you said, it's just a matter of guessing. But then it halted upside to $29 right now. So the tap is actually right back to where we were when we called the death of this stock. So UGRO wants to get back to $33 again. The only dangerous thing about this is you're going to probably have another 10 minutes. I don't know why they're 5 minutes and why they're 10 minutes.
It's a liquidity thing. So if it's not 5 minutes, it's because they don't have the liquidity for enough liquidity for an orderly reopen. Then they give it another 5 minutes. If it's after 10 minutes, then either they're scamming you like that one time a few years ago in the meme stocks with who was it again? It was. Because it was...
What was it? What example are you trying to do? Who scammed who?
Because it was not DJT. It was
DWAC?
Funware. It was DWAC and Funware.
PHUN. Yeah,
I was trying to think what the other symbol. It was DWAC and Funware were going at the same time, and DWAC was going ham, halting multiple times to the upside. And one of those, like the third up halt, Funware also halted. And then DWAC opened and Funware didn't.
There's also the warrants.
And then DWAC opened and Funware didn't. And then DWAC, and it was like an hour and a half later, they finally reopened Funware. By then, DWAC had retraced the whole move, and the Funware holders were like, well, we should have made like 50% or whatever it was to the upside, but you couldn't get out. Well, everyone saw DWAC falling, which was a scam. By the way, shout out to eSignal, because an easy way to see exactly where it opened is to go to like a 5-second chart. So I can go to a 5-second on eSignal, see that it would open at 27.3. So if you had that reversal short, it opened at 27 even. Or 27.29 it looks like, based on that chart. I still believe that was one of the... You know, there was never an explanation given to why Phunware was halted for that long period of time.
Right.
Because you couldn't argue liquidity because all kinds of meme stocks were going crazy and halting multiple times in there. It was trash, man, and I feel bad for anyone that got caught in that. Thankfully no one here did, but I remember we saw it in the chat. People were like, what's going on, what's going on? I'm like, I can't tell you what's going on because it should have opened an hour ago and they're holding the stock for some reason. So I'm thinking maybe one last shot in BMNR because it came right into resistance. Maybe let it pop back into here before the imbalances come out. The only thing that gives me pause for concern is BMNR usually does have an imbalance. I'm kind of hoping that it will show up so I can get a look at what the imbalance would be, like an early look, and then decide whether I still like it. But it hasn't really popped in just yet. Still just FXI for 2 million to the buy side, which makes sense to me given that PDD strength. Oh, Moto just said they got screwed on Phunware back then as well.
Oh, did they?
There were, honestly, it's trash. Like, it's one of those, if it happened to me, I would have been writing my broker, or what are you gonna do? All you can do is complain. I don't know what you could have done about it. It just didn't seem right, that's all.
Yeah, good example there. It looks like, so this did go out halted at 3:36:05. So we could have another minute until this thing opens. So that would be kind of cool if that was indeed the case right there. So murder was the case that it gave to Ugro. $33 right now downside. I did not, look, that silver went right back. I can see because thinking about getting filled here on SLV. With 20 minutes left, I'm getting too tired. I'm not going to take that trade because there's the break right there. We were going to take 95s. That's where we were offering. I am no longer there, obviously, as you can see, at 95. So I'm going to hold off on that. And I think that that's part of the idea, right? You don't necessarily want to be caught in something there, into the imbalances, and that's not even it. It's just we're getting less and less in on the day right now, and I'm just not super excited really about this trade anymore. So I'm going to sort of throw my hands up on that one and wave them like I just don't care, because I don't. So silver there, not bad, but that's the idea, right? Breaking that move lower. I like that play there for SLV. Okay, easy peasy. What's up, man? What you got going on there? We can't throw
right.
it. Okay.
I want to go to the thing.
Yeah, me too. Okay, here, I'll put it up. Thank you, easy peasy right there. 2%, thanks to Schaub. That's probably me. Palantir plus Marvell, your only trades. Hey, my guy, I said yesterday was at one of the highest spots. I'm at today, my highest spot, and I only have 2 names as well, man. Thank you, easy peasy. My 2 trades today are one that's similar, Palantir. I do not have Marvell on today. Of course, I have on the Qs. So only 2 names for me today, and it's, like I said yesterday, I think was the biggest day for the month for me. Today we'll beat that, so we're doing good there. There's the upside trade on TQs. This happened real early. This was the big one for me, and then we went short on TQs there. So this one didn't work out. We did wind up giving a little bit back, I believe. Maybe not though. And then Palantir, right? Long early, short late. And the proof is in the pudding there as well. So again, thank you, easy peasy. You have been a man of your word, donating 0.2%. And maybe at the end of the year, or maybe at the 6-month mark, we can add it up and see what that all means. Thank you so much for that one. Did Ugro open again yet? No. Okay. So
it'll be 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 3106, but since that did not open up, it looks like 40.
At this point, I just assume
4606.
Oh, but there is one point about UGRO before. Oh, I just saw Joe in the chat. Joey Options in the chat. There's one point that we got to mention because
SMH.
So it's going to open back up here in 4 minutes. If it does halt in the last 10 minutes, no matter what, the reopen is 4 o'clock. So if it halts at like 3:51 or 3:52 or 3:50 in 1 second, it doesn't matter. Nice. The reopen is at 4 o'clock. I saw Joe in the chat, but I didn't see what you said there, brother.
Oh yeah, he was trading Tesla. He was just saying that he did some good trading there on Tesla.
Joe, you had IBIT. Short.
This morning, but then.
You say he got stopped out. I know he probably doesn't have his mic.
I was going to ask him what happened at 12:24 on Bitcoin. That was my question. The only thing, does anybody know? Because I didn't see a story that could have caused this. That seems awfully random to me that Bitcoin was cruising down, and then right here at 12:24, it just spiked up almost like a 1.5%, on a single 3-minute candle.
Anything at the time. I was listening to that tokenization thing all day, but there was nothing of note from that either. And by thing, I mean congressional hearing. There's nothing super exciting that was said there. That's the only thing I could think that was happening around that time.
Yeah, and we threw it in for the lesson of the day. Well, the serious part of the lesson of the day, I kind of had some fun with the beginning of it, and then the second part when we were talking about the trade. You know, there were times where, and it was certainly that way this morning, where you can have a thesis in one direction. It's like, I think it's along, I think the market's along, and I like Bitcoin. It held to 70,000 and blah, 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 and it's holding VWAP and blah, 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 and all that stuff. But it lost VWAP, failed the pre-market high, failed the trend line. Like, all of those things happened, and it just turned into a short. So, you know, it is what it is. I feel like if I had been, it's weird. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I'm sitting here. I would have been searching for news and not sure what to do. But you can always pivot, I think. If that doesn't make sense and you don't know why it's up, that's why I went over to BMNR. I'm like, well, whatever is happening over here, forget about it. BMNR was still making sense at that point. But it didn't make sense when it came back into that local high. It just blew through the local high and tagged VWAP. But it's 5 minutes till it bounces, a little bit too close for comfort. Only because BMNR usually has over 1 million shares, one way or the other. And there's just no point. Oh, there it is. It's actually not that big. It's 700,000, but it is growing. So the buy imbalance was small. Now it's growing to 700,000. You don't need that growing to over 1 million when you're, I'm shorting off of VWAP, and then this thing decides to grow to a 2 million imbalance. And what does VWAP matter when that's the case? That's part of the thing. It's not that you wouldn't want to trade during the imbalances. It's just that whatever technical thing you're looking at becomes pretty irrelevant at 350 if something comes out rather large. You know what name we have not said today? Well, this afternoon. ARM's only up 17%.
Oh, ARM today, okay.
Yeah. Making their own chips for the first time. They're talking about $15 million in revenue from this chip, which would be by 2031, by the way, which would be 3 times their last year's revenue, which is huge. And total revenue they're projecting to be 5x by then. And remember, this is a stock that is always traded extremely expensive. At no point when you're a buyer of this thing have you been able to say, well, this looks like a good fundamental dip buy. I'm able to get this at a decent premium or at a cheap price.
So UGRO just opened up right there downside. So I'm still, you know, that short was still pretty good. The only worry for me on a stock like this UGRO, of course, is what happens if this halts again and we're getting close to 350 right now and then it goes into the after hours. We've seen stocks get like really pummeled. Like right there it is. So 36.30, right? So this is what I was gonna, like, it's too late to trade this right now because, so there it is, it's gonna halt at its highest spot right now. I could probably get long. I mean, there's a lot of dark pool prints there. We have many dark pool keys here at Real Trading. So, you know, if you guys are using any there and anybody got long, maybe if there's anybody else trading at Real Trading, you could let me know what dark pool that was. But there were many, many dark pools going through at 30 right there. Because when it halts, you can't take the offer. You can only get filled on the bid.
I've tried, you know the key, you know the one that's just, we have a key that's literally called dark. I've tried that one and it never seems to fill me.
I think that one routes, that's why. I think you want to be able to say like, okay, we have the JP Morgan one or the Citadel, we have Citadel dark pools, we have IEX,
so many.
All these different names or all these different venues out there, and that's what printed. So like
I can show
look at that, look where it's going to open now. $44 is the new tap. So all I had to do was put 100 shares.
You know what you do?
Yeah.
So you set up because you can do this at Real Trading. You just set all the different dark pools.
Ooh, yeah.
You could go there's JP Morgan's one, Nexus is one. There's a bunch of others. This is my entire keyboard. And you can set up a basket key.
Right.
That just goes, okay, it's going to throw out these 4 dark pools.
Okay, the only problem with that is when you get filled on all 4 of those.
Okay, so what you'd have to do is you'd have to want all 4 and be willing to only have one of them fill. So like if I only get one, that's fine, but I'm okay if all 4 of them fill. If you put a basket order out, your expectation is that you get filled. So you should always do that. When you put orders out, like let's just say I only want, at a certain level, I only want 1,000 shares, but I want to put 5 bids out, then you put them out for 200. That's the reasonable approach. We had a trader one time who took the opposite approach on a $3 stock. He's like, whatever, it's not going to fill all of them at the midpoint. and then all of a sudden he starts screaming at lunchtime when nothing is moving on a stock because he got filled like 10x what he was willing. He's like, well, auto cancel didn't work. I'm like, well, auto cancel doesn't work if someone swipes the bid for 1 million shares, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's I'll never forget that day. You know, nothing is happening. All of a sudden, I look over and some guy in our risk for the office has Bombardier for like 10 times what he would ever take as a position. And I'm like, dude, it didn't move. Why do you have all these shares? And he's like, auto cancel.
Now you know why no one ever makes any money. UGRO.
Actually,
Okay.
But the crazy thing is, at the time on the floor, he was the second most consistently profitable trader. He just simply misread the situation there, did something he didn't normally do. He broke a rule that he thought he got cute. He did something that he doesn't normally do that makes him money and thought I can do it a different way. If you're doing something new, why are you doing it for your regular deep or 10 times the amount of risk? Mind-boggling. Didn't last much longer after.
No. Okay, so by the way, UGRO obviously halted there. TAP is now $40. We do have just moments away from the imbalances coming through. Look, we didn't take that SLV trade, right? And good thing, it does go up into 65.20. So once it breaks there, we got some key levels breaking as well. Like that 50 period, it might have even been a long because there you go, you have some nice levels there. So this is going to get isolated right here in less than 10 seconds. We will have all of these sort of showing up, and you're going to see, there it is, out right now, Kenvue, NVIDIA with a buy, so that's going to be a good trade. Look what's happening to Palantir. We just got filled at 155. So, yeah, man, I mean, the money is spinning today on these trades, that is for sure. Palantir short, man, we just took $2 right there. We got 155 of 10s on the short side there of PLTR. So congratulations to everybody that's been trading here today. If you've had Palantir and Easy Peasy and the rest of them, good job on Joe. And obviously we've had some good trades here on the afternoon as well with Intel or BMNR or whatever you had over there as well. I just looked here. It's only $20 to go short 100 shares of UGRO.
I will say it's
very cheap.
Relatively cheap. So
very cheap.
A stock like that, we big up real trading all the time, but I fully expected sometimes you'll see that be like $2 or $1 or something. 20 cents, that just means that if it moves 25 pennies, you've made money, or 21 cents or whatever, you've made money. It's the ones where you're already out a $2 move. Because if your stop is $2, then you're really risking $4. If your stop is $2, here at Real Trading, you're risking $2.20, sorry. And that's the advantage of having a good broker. Not to toot the horn, but I can't imagine being a small cap trader and not having advantage of those locates. Like, what are you supposed to do? So none of those imbalances are actually that big or that interesting. You end up with nothing. Kenvue, again, nothing, which is expected. But overall, the Mag 7, the NASDAQ's a 9 million buy. The Mag 7 is 500 million, according to Adair. We don't have the overall market, which is weird, but I would suspect it's a buy.
The overall market's like 240 million.
Okay. But I would have thought it'd be a buy, because Google and Apple, yeah, they're both $1 million to the buy side. NVIDIA is $1 million to the buy side. Warner Brothers, for some reason, is a sell. That's still ridiculously underpriced. The market doesn't think that deal. There's some risk the market's pricing in on that deal actually going through. Because you can still get it at a 10% discount.
All right. Shout out to Warner Brothers. I'm just going to stop out if this breaks through 50, man. Like I said, this was a 15-cent worth of risk trade there. So we're able to, capture out. And if this breaks through 50, we're going to get out. I mean, that was already one of the best spots that we were able to get out when we just got a 10 down there as well. So just a small piece left out of Palantir. Thanks, everybody, for all the love today, man. I mean, I want to thank absolutely every single person that's in this chat here today. So let's just do a quick little roll call of people that we see. Bearded Warrior Trades, man. Thank you so much. Hypercube. Mike P. DeRider. Thank you so much, Philip, coming in there. Manifest Codes now as well. Green Sabers in here. MF Dane Generous, man. We always see you and want to give a big shout out to you there too. Shaggy says howdy. What's up, Shaggy? Eerie Pages, you're always here. Derek Thompson, thank you so much as well. Hangry Wife, man. Very, very awesome to have you here every day as well. King Clutch, man. Way to come up, Clutch. You have a good day as well. Mimi Petros there. What's up, Mimi? B. Cameron. What's going on over there? Wiseco Savage. Chuck of all trades. Why not? Teabag King, what's up, Teabag King? Hope you're having some green tea over there. I like green tea as well. Ryan O'Day, thank you so much. And what's up, Wendy's Tendies? Thank you for your contributions in said chat as well today. So just a little bit of a shout out to everybody. And there goes Palantir. We're now out of that, and we can officially stamp today as a good day. So yeah, thank you Bastone over there as well for the good talk about our show as well. So yeah, Big 40 nephews in the building as well.
Big
What up,
40.
Big 40, Big E40?
What you got on my 40, homie?
What's up to E40?
E40.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, exactly, man.
Back.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
Joe shouted out E40. Bring it
Yeah, man.
way back in the
Okay, that's it.
So I feel like Joe would be more like Cuddy Ranks. You're Jamaican, bro.
Oh, Shabba Ranks. You're
Shabba.
just going, yeah, Shabba Ranks too mainstream.
Shabba. Yeah, he was. No, Shabba Ranks was.
Actually, I know I'm going to
He
hear
was
some.
the most mainstream.
Well, Beanie Man.
Well, I mean, the first mainstream dancehall guy. Like, it was him, then it was Buju, and then it was a bunch of others. But
Buju Banton.
Yellow Man, Cuddy and Yellow were
It's a Buju Banton.
were just different. Barrington Levy, Trouble Double No. Yeah, that's what's up. Well, it's Fabian saying we actually have our tool back up there again. We can do the. See, the problem is the poll I was gonna do is no point because we actually had it lined up for what's gonna move the most. So we can quickly pivot to what would you most want to hold overnight tonight, right? So that I'll leave in UGRO, but I won't put the obviously because I don't think there's anything remotely obvious. USO fine, Q's fine, SMCI. What can I replace SMCI with? Doesn't make any sense anymore. Maybe ARM. So I'll just go with ARM. So what would you most want to hold overnight till tomorrow? 1 for UGRO. Good luck. 2 for USO, you want to hold oil. 3, you just want to hold the market, the Qs. I could have put the SPY, but the Q's already in there. 4 ARM, which is up 17%. 5 other. So put your name, well, you don't put your name in the chat. Just press the number in the chat. People have already started voting. Definitely not UGRO for me. USO, headline-driven, Qs. Yeah, we'll go start. I'm going to go with 5.
Other? Oh, come on. Other shouldn't even be on there, man. Everyone's going to choose other.
No one was saying any other names.
Boo, other.
Well, let's see.
Okay, well, that will win easily. So I'm going to go something. I mean, other's too easy. I'm going to go with Qs. You know, I think oil and Qs will almost be the same. So this is, which would you rather hold long? Is that what
hold, we're going to always assume overnight. If it's short, you'll say short. If it's
Okay, you know what? Then I'm going to go oil then. I'm going to go oil if it's going to be long, because I do think that there's going to be some more tensions ratcheted up overnight. And I just, you know, all this confusing talk about who's in charge, who's not in charge, who's giving all the information, who's not.
Everyone talked that week.
Yeah, I think that ratchets up overnight there. So I'll actually take a shot and say USO.
people actually like.
Okay.
We actually have votes for UGRO. That's the bullshit. Well, at least with that one, the thing about holding overnight, which the reason I think that's kind of, it's not that it's crazy, that it's difficult. If it goes
open up right now.
If it goes to $70, if it goes to $70 overnight, it could be at $30 by 9:30 tomorrow morning. Like you don't get the benefit of what it does at 4 a.m. It's where it's going to be at 9:30 when it opens up tomorrow. That's the risk of a UGRO. And we saw that happen with, what was the other name? It was Battle, BATL. Remember Battalion Oil, right? So Battalion Oil went ham. I guess the 15's not going to get it. You got to go to here. Battalion Oil went absolutely ham. Look at when it made the huge parabolic move from like 13 to 30, and that was it. And even when it made another move and retested 29, and that was it. You never got a chance to get that one back. Once it made the turn, and it went crazy. Like it was gapped way up in the overnight. And it ended up not mattering. You still, if you didn't get out at like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. that next day, you were basically toast. The reason UGRO didn't open up is in the last 10 minutes, you open at 4 o'clock. That's the rule. The whole time thing for volatility halts gets thrown out the window on at least NASDAQ in New York. I'm not sure about the AMEX.
By the way, Palantir just breaks 155, so hopefully you guys had a little more diamond hands than I did. But a great trade to end the day there. Palantir going to be my #1 P&L. I hope you guys are having a good day, and as your day's about to get better if you're not, because the market will be closed. All right, so here it comes in right now. Just trying to figure out these last couple minutes as gold does make that rally back. So again, sort of a congratulations to anybody that was sort of looking at the GLD trade there at the end of the day. Silver also made its move back up to the, oopsies, AAAM, back up to the upside as well was silver. So, you know, that was probably a good take at the 50-period moving average. Once you break it, you come back and let the break happen, and then it becomes support. And now you're going back up to the upside right there on UGO, so something to talk about there as well. On silver as we go. And then Bitcoin, I don't know, hasn't really done much today. I know it's gone up and down. I don't want to say it hasn't done much. We did have some moves, but, you know, we sort of just end where we sort of started there on IBIT. Oh no, actually we started up higher. I thought we were around 71,000, but I guess we were not. We opened up there at 40 bucks. I mean, I wrote down
2% retracement actually.
I wrote down IBIT today 40 long. Okay, wow. I almost wish I didn't see that. So I wrote, Joe, man, honestly, I can't. I need somebody to really whack me over the head, because all these things that I write down, it seems to be, there's IBIT 40 long. Right there for IBIT. We write that down at the beginning of the day. And of course, we write it down like 7:30. So we write it down when it's at 40.80. What's the low of the day exactly on IBIT? $40 right there. So that would have printed you huge to the upside over there. So we'll try to be more on that when we come. But that was, I could make it into an algo, but then that would be unfair, right? So I wasn't even here to watch that trade. So unfortunately, that's what you do when you take a break in the middle of the day. But at least we called it, man.
That's a nice snap.
The brain is still legit. 2 and 1. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. NASDAQ closes the day 2/3 of 1%. ES closes up 0.5%. So it's always nice when we get upside plays there. And let's just
There's
have
the end.
Yeah, let's have
it hit 40 and a huge reverse.
Yep, so we'll see what's going on with UGRO right now. So yeah, these prices have been a little bit of a problem for, what was it, UGRO? I don't remember the company's name, but UGRO. So yeah, often you'll open back up, and now the problem with it now is there is no halt mechanism for the end of the day. So if you're in after hours, this will not halt again. So you're gonna have to just sort of deal with whatever share size you have and whatever prices you wind up seeing, because it's not going to give you that halting mechanism again. I mean, I guess the company could request for halting of shares, and just get ready for UGRO to drop a offer.
Yeah, a few people have said that in the chat, which, like, the thing you have to know is, do they need to file, and therefore it could be days or weeks, or do they have one file that they can drop at any time, meaning you could literally get it overnight? If you're ever swing trading small cap stocks, it's something you want to know about the stock that you hold overnight. We don't, so I tend to not care, but that is some of your risk, everybody. And it's been a wild one. I suspect we're going to get a little more headline-driven action tomorrow as well, because that's the market that we're in, which we love, and that's absolutely fine. And the best thing about it only ever takes one move, right? Like, you get one good move, and then you're done. My day was red until there was one. Marissa writing the stickies.
I've always said, I mean, she's much smarter than I am. So
basically,
thank you.
Like passion.
Thank you to yeah, exactly. Thank you to Marissa for that.
We have a dude in our pool. He's been good twice, and I can absolutely 100% confirm there was at least one time I was with him when his wife was helping curate his list.
Yeah.
And we saw it live, and that was like the best year that the dude had, and we're just like, dude. She knows her stuff with football.
I don't think she does. Okay, $29.
I watched games with her. She actually.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm saying for fantasy sports, I mean, come on, man.
I'm comparing her to him.
Throwing darts at fantasy. Okay, guys, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to everybody that's part of the Trader TV Live team. Thank you, Bravely over there, watching out for TikTok and all those messages that are coming in. Thank you to everybody. UGRO, $28. We'll catch you tomorrow morning. It's Thursday. See you then.
Peace.